16 tools for your accounting firm that you might have heard of, but you may not have ever seen them before. Let's take a look. Talisman, whoa. Catch and control software expenses. It's Talisman. Get those cookies out of my face. A better way to audit, manage, and plan your software subscription budget. Oh, track and forecast your SaaS costs. Look at it, what a cool landing page. Okay, so check this out. What this is a way to manage all of your software subscriptions. And if you do accounting for small businesses, this can be such a huge value add, including recurring charge reporting, like with your financial statements. Like these days, like it almost ought to be a mandatory part of reporting. It's become such a big deal. I do a daily podcast for small accounting firms. Tomorrow, we're gonna talk about how to roll that out in a firm, like with your monthly reporting. I'll put a link up here. Those pods go on YouTube and on the podcast feed. That's Talisman. I'll put a link to all these down in the video description. BlueJay, generative AI for tax experts? Whew. So it's like a ChatGPT, but it'll actually go and fetch answers from authoritative tax stuff. Pretty nice. Why ask BlueJay? Junior adoption, real talk. And they're seeing this in studies on AI now. The folks who are saving the most time oftentimes are juniors. Oh, think about it. If you ever did tax, you just think about what tax research looked like for you and how much time you wasted. Countable, say goodbye to manual work. See you later, cloud-powered automation for your working papers. This one's pretty cool. They're like intelligent work papers that connects to your accounting ledger. So it'll actually like pull information from the accounting ledger and sort of marry that with the work papers that you use. Integrations all over the place. Templates and checklists. That's one thing I never did a great job on, like templatizing work papers. We had kind of a standard for what every month-end close needed to have, but the more that you can shoehorn that stuff into a standard format, the better it is. I'm actually shocked there aren't way more tools like this, using the accounting API to generate work papers and like start that work paper file for you. That one's Countable. Link down below. Laurel, this one just got announced as part of this year's AI CPA Startup Accelerator. Advance your firm with smarter billing. Is your billing a dum-dum?
Maybe.
Streamline your practice with real AI. Laurel's solution addresses complex billing and compliance challenges, freeing up valuable time and resources for strategic growth. Maximize revenue in a flat fee world. I don't know what that means, but it's catchy. I've long thought that like time capture is still way too manual. You see some tools out there like Rise that are like a desktop app that will monitor, you know, the Chrome tab that you have open and what app that you're using. And it's a really helpful starting point for tracking your time because it says, well, here's what you were using from this time to that time. You're on a Zoom call for this hour. Oh, I see in your calendar you were talking with Steve. Like, how do we blend all that stuff together into a more automated solution? I think that's what Laurel's working on here. Be interesting to see how that one progresses. Reconcile.ly. Reconcile all Shopify orders and payouts with 0 in seconds. I actually heard they just rolled out QBO support in product as well. Shopify payments, refunds, and fees from any payment gateway. Gang, if you are doing e-com stuff, please do not manually try to reconcile all that. Oh my gosh. A number of tools that do this really well now save you a whole pile of time because doing all that stuff one by one and having to figure that is not the move. Audit Miner, if you do benefit plan audits, this one's for you. They were part of the 2022 AI CPA Startup Accelerator. They're automating a bunch of the analysis and the work paper generation, which, as we just talked about, like way more space to automate work paper generation. It's just such a tedious thing. If you're doing benefit plan audits, they have been working specifically on this issue for several years now. Sidebar, man, like niche little audits like this, and I am not an audit guy, there are killer firms to be made in these little categories of this stuff that nobody wants to do, especially those that are at the intersection of, oh, tech's actually getting way better and helping way more with this. You're talking audits where the point of entry for an engagement's like 10, 20 grand. Oh, baby. You get a book of business of like 20 clients and hire a person or two. Not a bad gig. Not a bad gig. Agentive, AI-powered audit software. Yuck. I guess auditors need software too. Audit software that drives performance. Agentive is the audit automation platform that helps simplify and automate your audits, powered by machine learning and large language AI models. Okay, so my understanding of this one is you're able to chuck a whole bunch of unstructured data into the platform, regardless of the format. Yeah, Excel, CSV, invoices, bank statements, receipts, contracts, anything else. Add the attributes you need from each data source. Select those values that it extracts, and then it will take you directly to the source. Man, probably the best thing AI can do for us right now is pull very specific things out of huge bodies of information. Especially in audit, you think about really any engagement. Think about all the documents that go into an engagement and having a question like, did we ever talk with the client about X? Having AI to search across all that stuff instantly and get you an answer and pull you to the source. Oh buddy, it's gonna be such a time saver. The problem right now is we have all these platforms and silos where all that data lives, and many of the platforms where we've got that data right now are kind of legacy platforms that aren't really like leaning into AI stuff. But once we can get that information into one place, or at least have an AI tool that can see across all those sources, that's gonna be so nice. That one is Agentive. Midday. This one is wild. So this is actually a totally open source tool, meaning you could, if you know how to code, you could go fork it and make your own version. You could hire a developer and say, this is the starting point. Now I want to take this tool from A to B and do this specific thing. It's basically an app layer that sits on top of your QuickBooks or Xero with a way better looking interface. And because it's open source, it's something that like actually, if you really wanted to, you could customize. This one came out just a few weeks ago. You can buy like a hosted version that you can use online. Out of the box, it's got some cool stuff that your accounting ledger probably doesn't have, like being able to chat with it, like AI chat. They're working on rolling out more stuff like their own invoicing, but this will be a really interesting one to follow, particularly if it ends up being this like pretty nice, like fully featured platform. The notion you could self-host, you could make your own version of it, that's pretty interesting to me. That one's called Midday. Now you might be thinking, open source, what does that even mean? Jason, I'm an accountant and I'm overwhelmed. In fact, this whole video is making me more overwhelmed at how many tech options there are out there for my firm. And it's why you gotta make sure you've got a trusted IT solution. Roll the music, please. Like TechGuru, the IT group that just works with accounting firms. That's you little snowflakes. It means they know the lingo. I tried a 179 and F-150, the whole 4562 went up in smoke. They understand your business cycles. It's April 10th, read the room. And they're on hand when you're thinking about that new app. So this influencer just told me to use, I think he said an open source QuickBooks layer. Can you help with that? Because you got enough to do, and of all the things you ought to be delegating, IT, that is high on the list. TechGuru, they're gonna run you through the 3 S's: strategy, security, and supportery. And they're gonna ensure that you can keep leaning into the best of new tech responsibly. You are no computer nerd, okay? To learn more about TechGuru, check out the link in the video description and go out now and book a call for after busy season so that you remember to get back to it. Cone! I said Cone, work management reimagined for accounting and other professional services. Proposal to payment software. It's a practice management platform. Proposals, quotes, drag and drop, editor, sales pipeline, billing, payments. Okay, so they've got like a proposal solution for any type of professional service, but then practice management software specifically for accounting firms. One app to replace them. 27% more revenue? Hang on. 50% more, hang on. 40 plus hours saved a month? Hang on. I didn't even work 40 hours last week. Greater than 10K saved per year. Chasing clients for documents, it's over. Know who is doing what, when, and how. Automate work, so practice management software. I'll link that one below. Cone, TaxFile. We got a few outsourcing staff augmentation services here. So TaxFile started with like partnering with accounting firms to get them contract help for busy season. Domestic outsourcing with TaxFile. So the difference here is these are gonna be onshore US tax preparers, and they're hunting them down for you so that you don't have to, because good luck finding them. Augment your firm with TaxFile's award-winning platform. Over 7,200 US-based CPAs and EAs, average 12 years experience, 100,000 plus returns prepared. That is TaxFile with a Y. Now another one that just got accepted into the AI CPA Startup Accelerator, Blackor, the first AI tax prep platform for CPAs. Augmenting CPAs with superpowers. Automate 1040 tax prep so you can focus on building your firm. Man, if there's one like aspect of tax prep we could just make go away right now, 1040s, I'm behind it. I mean, I'm behind them going away. When you specialize and you just start working like exclusively with business owners, those 1040s are always like, can I just make this go away? Combat burnout, supercharge efficiency, ignite growth, and operate with confidence. Is that Lady Liberty? That's a confident lady. 90% time savings, 5x annual ROI. Hang on. Over 50 source docs supported. Okay, so my understanding of this right now, okay, you create a new prep request. I think you give them a pile of files, and what you get back is like a work paper file. I don't know if it's like a completed return or partway there, but right now they're starting with 1040s, building kind of like a productize AI solution to get the prep as far as it can, cutting out some of that work for me, which is, I would be perfectly happy if I never had to do another 1040 again. That is Blackor. One more related to staffing here, Paro, staff augmentation services. They've been around for a while, but raised some money last year to do more around building AI into how this stuff gets done. Talent shortage? Not for us. Scale up for tax and audit busy season or slim down when things get slow. Hire at the speed of opportunity. So like TaxFile, these are US-based pros. Lightning fast matching, plug and play onboarding. I have seen Paro around at some accounting conferences. And man, when you're looking at like staffing solutions, there's so many. It's really hard to separate the legit ones from Cousin Eddie, who just became, an outsourcing agency. So Paro, you'll see him if you're making the rounds at accounting conferences. Blackor, we just touched on. They're part of the AICPA Startup Accelerator. TaxFile, they've been around for a number of years now. So these three groups, at least, I've got some confidence in. Okay, enough staffing stuff. Cost Allocation Pro. Retro is cool, retro accounting. It ain't. Automate your payroll allocations. Nonprofits are understaffed and under-resourced. You don't have to waste time and money each month manually posting journal entries. Okay, so my understanding is the main application was around like posting payroll when you gotta split it up umpteen different ways. This is a tool to help you do that and then push those journal entries to the accounting software. I gotta think it's got applications outside of nonprofits, but I think that's where they started. That is Cost Allocation Pro. Impera, you've got a CRM for sales. What do you have for strategy? So these are like living strategy docs, kind of interesting. Almost if you think about what like Notion has done to make docs more interactive, this is like a very integrations first, like custom connect different drivers sort of like document where you get all that in one place. Stop using static documents to develop your client plans. Connect with your favorite tools. I see QuickBooks and Xero. Oh, interactive demo, strap in. Okay, organizational goals, enter actuals. 500,000, yep. So more of a holistic platform for like strategy that isn't just ledger focused and isn't really a reporting system. Figured, smart farm management starts here. It's farm stuff. Okay, I met these people, I think it was at a Xerocon once. They've got a whole accounting program, or like a partner program to work with firms. And I love stuff like this because you can kind of become the firm for X. Like you can become the firm that works with farmers who are on Figured. Because when you're thinking about marketing materials and presenting what your firm does, like literally anything but standard QuickBooks reports or anything like that will make you look smart. And I always push people, show the client experience, like show the cool tools that you use in your marketing. How to scaling AgCAS with Figured and QuickBooks on. Of course, AgCAS is a thing. Easily track farm production, clarity on farm financial health, planning for the future. Farmers gonna farm, man, that's a great niche. Those software platforms are also great people to partner with on content. So like you get on their webinars, that sort of thing, to get in front of people who use the platform. And they're like, oh, you just work with farmers that use Figured? Before you know it, you got clients coming out of your ears. One more, RC Reports, the #1 reasonable compensation analysis solution. If you are a tax firm in the US, you spend so much time doing the S-Corp hokey pokey, and we'll meet people with various mystical ways for how they arrive at reasonable compensation. In my experience, the problem with that is it then becomes really hard to delegate that work when you've got partners that are just like, man, this is the right number. RC Reports gives you a way to like actually back up the reasonable compensation number you're gonna get to. And for me, the firm owner, it makes the process of doing that much more delegatable. Doesn't have to be me just like staring into the crystal ball and deciding here's this or that. RC Reports will actually like give you a solid backed up number to work with. Custom reports in minutes, resources to educate clients, increase that firm revenue. If you're working with S-Corps, you're already doing some version of this, and it's probably something that ought to be productized, like where you set that reasonable comp. And the nice part about products like this is they give you like a more legit sort of report kind of deliverable to make that service look like, hey, like we actually put some work and some thought into this stuff, as opposed to like just hacking together some work papers that the client never sees. That is RC Reports. I'll put a link to all the tools down below. If there's anything new you've been playing with, please drop it in the comments. Would love to see it. That's the way I find out about most of these things. Somebody DMs me they're geeking on this new tool, I come and share it, and we all get just ever so slightly smarter / overwhelmed because of it. Now, if you're a weirdo like me and you got an appetite for a lot of tech, check out these. These are some other tech roundups we've done the last couple of years, and you might find something that just sets your world on fire. On fire!